Hello everyone, and welcome back. It is finally time for another round of the MRL Endurance Series. My name is Strifium, and joining me for all of the action is Unicorn. How you doing, Unicorn?
Strif, I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to this one. Spain Endurance Series. It's been a little while since we've taken to, the Circuit de Catalunya, and well, I'm looking forward to see what these drivers have got to offer us here this evening.
Definitely, of course. This is a circuit we've driven for the Endurance Series before. It's also a circuit that we've had through the MRL, 16 turns, and it is the circuit that the real Formula One World Championship is visiting, of course, this weekend for the Grand Prix, and that's why we're here. We follow the Grand Prix that happen in the real world for this racing action for the Endurance Series. Of course, with the past few rounds, we haven't had that real opportunity to do so, given the fact that neither of those circuits were available to us, but we are finally back in Spain, and I'm really looking forward to all of the action as we just get all of the racers in here for this 100% distance campaign. It is an 18-minute qualifying followed by a 100% distance race. Now, it is with the same rule set as the MRL. It is just a change of distance from 50 to 100%. So you have full vehicle damage, strict corner cutting, ghosting is off, of course all penalties and etc are as is, safety car on, and the one thing as well is the weather does mimic the weather in reality. Now we did have a clear qualifying today, if I'm not mistaken, so we're gonna be we're gonna be having a dry session today. Corn?
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing any rain out on track. Like you said, qualifying today in real life was clear, so clear it shall be. The race tomorrow, it's a little bit up in the air what the weather's going to be doing. I don't think we're going to be seeing any rain here tonight, but the clouds might bring a little bit of fear into the drivers. I don't think we'll see them open and burst into any wet conditions, but we are getting readied up here. We've got 19 drivers right now, but that should be bolstered to 20 once we get into qualifying. One driver just running a tad late, but we'll get there before the start of the race. But yeah, no rain expected for the evening. There we go. We've got the countdown timer started. Everyone getting readied up. And we'll start off with that 18-minute qualifying session.
Really excited to see Spain for an Endurance Series race once again. I always enjoy watching Spain. I mean, everyone talks about it as a circuit where there's no overtaking. I mean, I've found in some of the MRL races we've had here, there is definitely an opportunity for overtaking. We have a very nice grid lined up today. We'll take a look at who's lining up on the grid in just a few moments here as we jump into the qualifying. Excited. Racing action, especially ahead of tomorrow's race.
Yeah, I think Spain in-game offers a little bit more overtaking than it does in real life. So I think that's sort of part of the distaste for it, that people have those connotations of the real life racing. Obviously, here in the league racing world, it's a little bit different in terms of what drivers can. There's obviously less risk involved. There's less on the line. So people can go for a bit more bold moves than maybe we'd see a real life one driver go for. But that opens it up for a little bit more drama through some, unique overtaking opportunities around a few of these corners.
Definitely. We're gonna have to see what these drivers also decide to do for tire strategy. We know that the softs here can degrade rapidly. We'll have to see how that carries over into the 100% distance format and how these drivers choose to tackle that. You can see a couple of these drivers opting to already fit the medium compound tires on that timing tower. Of course, before we jump into qualifying action here, just a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat, or of course the panels down below on their website for some amazing sim racing products. Of course, we also have an event that we are running. A tournament is coming, and you can register for that, exclamation event in the chat, or head on over to our website, misfitsrl.com, to register. Cash prizes as well as some community giveaways going on there. Coffee Sipper now getting into the session, so he'll get a car in a moment. We'll have to see if that unfortunate qualifying glitch comes into play here at all today, Unicorn. He may just be seen be booted to back of the grid. Now, one thing to talk about, Azir, home circuit for him in the Williams, first out of the pit lane as well.
Yeah, wants to get it out on track nice and quickly. Like you said, home race for him. And a good result here would mean a lot, you can imagine. And, well, Spain, after a 100% race, there's a lot that can happen there. We've just seen them come out of turn 9 on this outlap, and I think that's going to claim a few end plates at the very least here tonight. And I think even in qualifying, we've seen issues through there. When everyone's pushing on these flying laps, everyone's going full throttle, trying to get that as flat as possible, it can really cause problems. Azir now slowing things down to get the best exit out of this 14-15 chicane at the end of the lap. And there he goes, launching himself away to start the first flying lap of the session, getting himself some camera time in his home Grand Prix. Flying down the start-finish straight, this huge DRS section of track down into turn 1, using all of the curbing, a bit too much of it. And he has to use all of it in turn 2 as well, so an invalid lap for him. He will not be particularly happy with that. We've got behind him the Alfa Romeo Rutanius, teaming up with one of his championship rivals for Tier 3, Striff. He's a teammate of Daniel Manaf, who's a little bit more accustomed to this Alfa Romeo.
That's funny to see. Rutanius normally in that racing point, of course, and he'll be partnering up with his championship rival, of course, Daniel, in that Alpha, as you said. And Rutanius flying through turn 9, absolutely flat out, but he's just taken a bit too much of that outside.
Ooh,
and who was that behind him? Was that Daniel?
It was Daniel, yeah. Very similar, but he went much wider and he took the off-road. My goodness, a lot of people already struggling through turn 9. I think four-door sedan in the Williams on the medium compact tire will set the first time of the session. Oh, Daniel Manaf might set one. I don't know if he invalidated actually coming out of turn 9, but it won't be a fast tire. He did invalidate somewhere. Four-door. There you go, a 116.510. We're still yet to have a soft run. McLaren driver Larsen, he's just started. Scotty, let's see what he can do. But shaky coming out of 15. But as he comes through the final corner, where's it going to put him? The Haas driver, a 114.799 opens up the soft times. A lot of invalidations shift so far. Neon did a 114.2, but it was invalidated. And I wonder whether some of this is deliberate. Obviously, we've seen a lot of mistakes, but...
Three times on the board right now. It's Scotty, VL, Acraid, and four-door, and take us through this grid completely. We've got Scotty, Acraid, four-door. We have Milan. Of course, Daniel Manaf setting himself onto the front row there. Coffee Sipper, Tuptus, Azir. We have Larsen, Remco Van Putten on the grid today, as well as Baccario, Sindako, BTFU, Neon, Varrock, Dark, Rutanius, Freeware, and Jean. BTFU starting a run, and as mentioned before we jumped into qualifying here, the softs, a tire that degrade quickly, and maybe a lot of these drivers wanted to get maybe a few practice runs in, use a set of softs just to run some laps, get a feel for the circuit, come through on some mediums after to get a proper time in that top 10. Of course, you'll get a free tire choice outside of it. Now we have a few more times coming through.
Yeah, Sindako just went fastest.
Dark just crossed 5th as well. Sindako, a potential favorite for pole position today, as there is a prediction going on in the channel. If you can see that above your chat, can he get the back-to-back pole position? And I'd say the odds are in his favor at the minute.
Yeah, a lot of competitive drivers on this grid, and well, a lot of other fast drivers here. Invalidated runs left, right, and center. I'm hopping on board with a lot of drivers seeing red track maps. Varrock, he's about to round out a lap. Coming through the final sector in the Mercedes. Into 14, 15 now. Through the final corner to the line. What's it going to be for him? It's a 1:16.1, so not the fastest time we see tonight, and not the fastest time we'll see from him, I shouldn't think.
Four-door at 16.5 from him, set on the medium compound tires. He's just holding on that set of softs as a selected compound in the pit lane right now. Mario, another Spaniard here, another home race for him in this Ferrari today. And of course, Carlos Sainz tomorrow will be taking up the home race mantle in the Ferrari as well. Through turn 3, and I absolutely love the first circuit of Spain here. I find it to be such a flowing section of circuit, and we're getting a good look of it right now.
Yeah, I think if you nail it, it's so fun to drive as well. You get, you know, just the satisfaction from nailing those corners. Like you say, very flowing section of circuit. Also a fairly easy place to make a mistake, especially if you're side by side with people as Becario. Very shaky and a little bit wide coming out of turn 9. No invalidation, but obviously that's going to hurt the time.
He got off the throttle. He got things slowed down. Fortunate for him not to really have anything else come out of that. No damage. He'll just have some wear on the tires. We'll see what he opts to do here, whether he chooses to set this as a banker or whether he chooses to come in. He's going to follow through with this here, Unicorn, and he's going to set this time.
Considering it's not terrible, a 1:16.3, and it does put a time on the board, which, you know, is not too bad. He might even be, he's still pushing. He's got EOS deployed. He's full throttle. He hasn't lifted off. With the tires around here, I can't imagine this is going to be ideal at all. But we'll see what he does. He is up quite significantly through the first sector. I'm curious as to what his intentions are here.
If he would appear to have had some kind of connection error over on his end right now. Here we go. Tough Tuss in the racing point. What is he able to do? He's on the mediums. He goes third quickest here. A 14.839 on the medium set, Unicorn. Very good run from him.
Yeah, fast times. You love to see him coming in, and it'll only get faster when that track sort of starts to evolve, get faster.
Ackrade. 14.6 his last run through. Another run on those softs, and he was unable to do anything about Sindako here. Daniel Munaf. He is now coming through into the final chicane, and he has had an issue, so he is on his way into the pit lane.
And Neon, he's out on a fly now on the medium tires. Coming through. Turn 4, just entering sector 2. And we'll see what he can do. He hasn't set a valid time yet, but that might have been deliberate from the Dutchman if he wants to start on these tires. Maybe just see where his pace lands in comparison to the other drivers. He's dropped the lap.
Yeah, he
he's
has.
not happy with it.
I was checking that out, and I think he's done with it. Be an issue, something that really interrupted him there. John P8 15095 on the softs. Gap's quite tight in this grid right now. First down to 10th, 1.2, and a significant amount of the drivers on this grid yet to set times.
Yeah, it's getting late in the session as well now, you know. We've got 6 minutes to go. It might be a little bit out, but not really enough that at this stage of the qualifying session to not have a time set is a little bit risky. So it sort of boils down to one shot. But then again, if you want to start on a medium compound tire and you think you've got the pace, you only really get one shot anyway. So we'll see what these guys can come up with. Conjure up on their last run. Larson, he's just started on the mediums.
Pushing with everything he's got into turn 4 here. This will be his first valid lap. Careful not to touch the grass coming through turn 4 into 5, and that can be tricky if you catch that grass on the outside.
A lot of these corners, it's so punishing if you just step a little bit off the racing line. You just the circuit does punish you if you make mistakes in, you know, a lot of ways. There's a lot of corners, you know, that just hook the curb the wrong way. You put a tire in the grass, anything like that, you know. There's some big sausage curves in the final section as well.
I thought Azir might have gotten himself in some hot water there as he almost found himself in front of Larson. Larson now to the line. It's good for P8 on the mediums. We take a look at the best laps set by drivers here. And 3 of the top 10 were laps set on mediums. Fordor has not yet improved on his opening run at 16.5. He was the first driver to make the medium run. But we have Tuptus, Milan, and Larson 5, 7, and 8 right now on the mediums.
Remco's just dropped his lap on mediums. He's gone very wide at turn 9. I'm at this stage in the qualifying session. I wonder whether we see him come into the pit lane and get onto some softs. He's got time to do so, but he's not got a lot of time. He's letting through a lot of fast movers right now. Needs to be careful here.
Speaking of fast mover, I think Fordor, I was just checking in with him. He just cut. ET following him now on the way out of the final turn. BTFU, 10th quickest here at 15.1. He's done that on the medium compound tires.
There's a lot of people on dropped laps, even if they're not invalid. So a lot of people unhappy with their times here. It's been a bizarre qualifying session, Shift. Spain is always a weird one, with the mediums sort of being the desirable starting tire.
When the tire choice plays a role, I mean, it is a 100% distance race. That's something else that might throw a big wrench into the equation for some of the strategies here. A lot of the strategy is to start on that medium preferred tire in a 50% distance race, but who knows what it'll be in this one. There's always that potential for safety car as well. Now, checking in with the Renault driver, Jamie.
Yeah, he was that late joiner. We were waiting on the 20th driver, who we knew was coming. But here he goes. He might have that qualifying glitch, much the same as Coffee Sipper if he has issues. But right now, well, there's the qualifying issue in itself. Cutting the first corner, invalidating the lap. Not a good start.
Seems like Remco van Putten, one of the many Dutch drivers on this grid today, has struggled in this Red Bull throughout the session. He's on a set of mediums, and I think he might have blown his lap. Could be warming his tires to go again now. No low fuel light. So, see what he's able to do.
He had a problem on his first one on those mediums. Meanwhile, Akrade improved his time, and Milan.
Well, Milan jumps in Daco. Very nice.
Sundaku doesn't have time to go again. He's in the pit lane. He invalidated his last run. So there's opportunities for a few of these drivers here. You've got Scotty, Rutanius, Tuptus, Daniel Manaf all on outlaps. You've got the likes of Neon, Freeware, Remco, all yet to set a time.
Hey, big shout out to Inside Racing League. Thank you so much for the raid and host. Welcome in, welcome in. What's happened with Neon?
Neon had a big slide through turn 4. He's got it stopped, but my goodness. His qualifying's over, Striff. He's not going to have a time.
Well, I do believe we have a McLaren engineer in the chat in the form of Mr. Bud this evening, and maybe he'll care to comment and give us a heads up on how things are going over on that pit wall. But one driver to set a time now. Freeware has begun a run, and I think he might have invalidated his first one. I see my good friend Tiger Style, aka Sergey, in the chat, and it's good to see you here for another endurance race, my friend. And everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much for being here. Ooh, Dark! Dark has just had a huge issue. He's crashed, and Freeware, is he still carrying the man's wing on that front end? He actually had a piece of debris fly onto the front end of this Red Bull.
I'm not sure, but I think Daniel Manaf might have crashed as well. Freeware!
Oh
my goodness!
Okay. Yeah.
I said turn 9 was going to take some people, Striff. And, well, it started early. I think Daniel Manaf might have crashed on the entrance of turn 9 as well. I'm not 100% sure on that. There was what looked like an Alfa Romeo stopped on track there, and he is retired from the session. But, well, the end of the qualifying sessions, they're always crazy. Everyone pushing for that fastest lap.
That's very true. We always see stuff like that happen in the end, and Uptus on his way in. Varrock now. Not looking as if he'll be improving coming into Sector 2, but we'll see.
Azir at his home Grand Prix. Home circuit for the Williams driver. Coming through the hairpin of turn 10 into 11 and 12. Another section of track that, if you get it wrong, really punishes you. Well, going through 14, 15 into the final corner. Where can he put himself at his home track?
Oof.
P3, and, well, there's a Red Bull sort of parked on exit there.
That's AI cars, ladies and gentlemen, out of fuel is what that is. And that is what happens at the end of a session, but we'll take you through this classification. After 18 minutes of qualifying, we have Milan in the Mercedes on pole position. It's a 14.298 with Sindaco in the Racing Point, the Italian driver, a 14.373, just 3/4 of a tenth off of Milan on pole position. And then we have Azir, less than a tenth by 8 milliseconds. The hometown hero here, driving in the Williams for Spain, around Spain. Rounding out your top 3. Freeware with that unfortunate issue resulting in no time set as he crashed. And, well, it's a very tight grid with a little bit of tire separation in the top 10. And we'll just have to see how the tires shape up as we come in for the back 10 for this formation lap. Of course, my name's Striffium here from Canada. Joining me is Unicorn from the UK. And a massive shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat, and of course the panels down below on their website for some amazing sim racing rigs, wheel stands, light rigs. They have motion sims as well, and they have a really, really great set of light sim gear as well. But without further ado, we are getting ready for formation time.
And there's someone I think we need to look out for here. We've got Tuptus. I think he was P7 on the mediums. That is a very strong place to be here in Spain. It may be a 100% race. The strategy is a bit different to the 50%ers, but at the same time, the softs still do not last that long. There's a bit of a debate before the race as to whether the 1 or the 2 stop would be faster. Well, there's only one way to find out, but the 2 stop could be strong. The medium soft, or medium soft medium available to the medium starters, or in fact the medium hards. The soft hards soft, medium, medium. There's a lot of opportunity here, but starting on the medium just gives a little bit of flexibility. And Tuptus, there he is in P7 in that racing point. That is a strong place to be. Larson as well, P9 on the mediums. We'll see how he goes. But so far on this one, we've got Milan on pole position ahead of Sindaco in the racing point. Azir, his home race, he qualifies P3 ahead of Acraid there. Scotty in the Haas in P5, Rutanius P6. Tuptus, we've already mentioned it, on those mediums in 7th place. Daniel Manaf in the other Alfa Romeo starts 8th. Larsen on the medium tyres in 9th. Jean rounds up the top 10 on the softs. And BTFU and Dark on the hard compounded tyres in 11th stuff. We'll see how they go. They've got Varrock, Becario, and four-door sedan behind them on the medium. So a little bit of a starting pace advantage for those 3 cars, as well as when the softs die out. They could be in for some early positions to be gained. Neon, Remco Van Puyen, and Freeware, the McLaren and the 2 Red Bulls, start on the hards from 16th through 18th. And then Coffee Sipper and Jamie Franzi, both Renaults, both joined late. And they've both been relegated to the back of this grid. They both start on the medium compound of tyres to match their cars. But that's the grid. That's the tyre variation, and there's a lot of it. And there's a lot of strategies, even with these, that could change. Even if you start on the mediums, you can still have a different tyre strategy to the guy behind, also on the medium competitor tyres.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, time to get the predictions in. Are we going to see some safety cars? Are we going to see some drama, some intensity, some wheel-to-wheel action? Who is going to finish this race in top 3? We have Milan, Sindaco, Azir on this grid right now, your top 3. A lot of softs right now on that top 10 and a lot of harder compound tires behind them as we approach the line now to get racing for 66 laps, ladies and gentlemen, here in this campaign. And this is the Spanish Grand Prix ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix, I'll call it, for this evening, as tomorrow the Real World Championship gets underway for round 4 as well here around Barcelona. And now, well, Unicorn, it's just about time. Take us away.
Here we go, 3, 4, 5 red lights here on in Spain. We've got a little bit of desync at the start, but the engines are revving here. And away we go, Milan. A pretty strong start, but Sindaco off the line. Much faster than Mercedes in front of him. And he's already side by side as we go down towards turn 1. There he goes, the racing point up the inside, side by side. But the Mercedes around the outside holds on to the position. Is this going to open up to the Spaniard behind? The Ferrari of Acraid spins. He is off the track, and Rutanius has already gained 3 places. The Alfa Romeo is past the hometown driver Azir. Tuptus, he's up 2 as well. Larsen's up 3. A lot of positions gained. Scotty's off as well. The Haas driver down to 19th place from 5th on the grid. Dark, BTFU now exchanging for the final points position. It's early on in this race, but all the positions count. And it's BTFU up the inside as they go down into turn 7, and the AlphaTauri secures that 10th place. And Dark, he can't do anything through turn 9, but a better run down into turn 10 could see him retake that position. ERS fully utilized right now for him. Neon just behind him. What a start he's had. He's up 4 places, as well as Coffee Sipper from the rear of this grid, up 6 places into 13th. Four-door Freeware, they're exchanging behind them. And now Freeware opened up to his teammate Remco Van Puyen up the inside of 12. Sneaks past the German and takes away 15th place. What an opening lap here around Spain.
This has been a very, very hectic opening lap. A couple of drivers a little bit worse off, as you see Scotty Acraid a little bit further behind this train. We see Neon now dispatching Dark along the inside, just further ahead of them now. Up at the front of things, you can see everybody in close formation coming through turn 3. Milan pulling away just ever so slightly. Sindaco, Rutanius, they're dancing in and around 1 second range of one another, as well as the leader. And with all of that, you don't want to fall off the leader here. I mean, there's not a lot of DRS opportunities. You have the DRS run out of turn 9 into turn 10, and then you have the DRS run down into turn 1. That's it. The rest of that, you're either trapped behind another car, or you're doing a little bit of work trying to get someone, you know, keep tight. But it's early in this race. It's different than a 50% campaign. You have a lot more ability to, you know, stay off the battery, be a little bit more patient, and we'll just have to see how all of these drivers fare through to the end of this campaign. Four-door Remco now, tight through into turn 10. On the inside, a little bit of a brush there for Remco and four-door, and that might give Freeware an opening. And is Freeware going to take it? He definitely looked there. Timing tower going to give us a few moments before it gives us the appropriate picture of things.
Yeah, everyone just wants to settle in a little bit on these opening few laps. You don't want to be doing too much. You want to realize it's a long race. There's Remco Van Putten on the inside of Coffee Sipper. Coffee Sipper late on the brakes, so tries to go back around the outside, but that's Remco Van Putten. And once he takes the position, he doesn't usually give it back. And up into 13th goes the Dutch driver. And speaking of Coffee Sipper, his fellow countryman, he picks up a 3-second time penalty. Just ran a little bit wide coming through turn 3 there. And at this stage of the race, lap 3, you don't want to be picking up, you know, time penalties like that, because we've got a long way to go. It's 66 laps around here. And if you're already picking up a penalty like that now, you know, you're looking to pick up a good lot. Well, if he keeps going at this rate, Jeff, it's what, 22 penalties he'd pick up by the end of this one?
It'd be quite a bit.
Oh, well, there's a big snap. And the Renault spins and almost collects his teammate. I'm amazed that the 3 cars behind him managed to avoid that, and the fact that he's got no damage.
Yeah,
that's the Ferrari Acroyd getting past him.
That's very fortunate that nobody else got collected in that, and that's Coffee Sipper having a very hard time. Hot tires, of course.
He's got ERS enabled. There he goes. He's worked it out. I think in the heat of the moment there, he just got a bit flustered, and you can see him struggling really. Those rears absolutely done for. And considering he was starting on the mediums, look at him struggle through that final sector. Meanwhile, up at the front, Azir, ever since he lost the position to Rutanius, he has been looking to get it back. He hasn't found a way back past yet, but he's getting ever so close to the rear of the Dutchman's car.
Yeah, and right behind them, they have a little bit of a train that's being separated ever so slightly by the AlphaTauri of Jean in 8th position right now, but he's got Baccario, BT, and Neon behind them, and I have a feeling once these tires start to set in here, who's this now? Coffee Sipper once again with another issue, this time through turn 2. The Renault not having the best run of it at the moment, and now we have another overtake. It's Freeware along the inside of 4-door sedan up through into turn 9, and it would appear he's gotten that move done, but he's going to have a run back now, 4-door, up the outside of turn 10. And just ahead of them, some more exchanging. I believe it was Baccario getting ahead of Jean. Baccario now into 8th position, and Baccario wanting to break down that gap that Jean placed between them and the train.
Yeah, Baccario late on the inside into turn 10. Looks clean though, so I'll be more than happy with the move, but Jean now looking back at it. Neon gets his teammate behind, but it's Jean overtaking the AlphaTauri down the inside into turn 1 on the Ferrari. He goes a little bit deep, looking for the switchback. It's Baccario.
Oh!
That's the second time we've seen a Ferrari through there. And the McLaren and Neon, well, he will not be happy with that one.
No, definitely not. He's just gone smack into the car, and that's really bad news if you're him right now. Azir, meanwhile, I'll tell you something, Rutanius will be happy to have a racing point in his rearview mirrors. He just won't be happy that it's his teammate today because he's in an Alfa Romeo, of course. But Azir now, well, he is in 5th. Tuptus has taken him for 4th, and now Tuptus on those medium compound tires is going to do a little bit of work to hunt down the Dutch driver in 3rd. Maybe the tires, those softs, starting to betray the drivers that qualified on them here. I still feel like in a 100% race, it might be early, but you never know. Neon dropping positions because of that severe damage on the front right wing. And of course, there's not much he can do about that.
Well, he was asking for some overtaking action before the race. He said he wanted this to be fun. I'm not sure this is how he planned it, but he has got a challenge ahead of him now, whether he likes it or not. Tuptus, can he go for a move on Rutanius? He's got a lot of speed going down on the inside, and he sneaks past Rutanius in the car that we're used to seeing the Tier 3 Championship leader drive. And Rutanius, he's not used to looking at the rear of a racing point, but that's exactly what he's going to have to do for now. And then once more, he's got Azir on his gearbox.
Yeah, Larsen on those medium compound tires starting to really close up the gap, coming through turns now and out of turns, and I think it's starting to really equalize the tires.
Yeah, I think the mediums really starting to come into play already. It is early, but the softs around here, they die out ever so fast. And we're already seeing Tuptus leave Rutenius in the dust. And I said he was going to be dangerous in P7. He's already in the podium positions. If he can catch these leaders now, which he is doing, it's worth noting he is catching those guys. As he goes a little bit wide through turn 12, but nothing to write home about. But he's got his teammate Sindarko for the evening ahead of him, and he needs to catch, and catch he should, with the tires starting to die off for the soft runners. But the fact that he's already in P3 is a very strong indication for his race. Here goes Azir. He's finally got a run on Rutenius. It's taken him a fair few laps to get back at the Dutchman around his home Grand Prix. But the Spaniard around the outside of turn 2 finds it. And Larson might have a look as well. He does. What opportunistic move for the McLaren. He sneaks into P5. And Rutenius is not having a good time of it. The mediums right now, what a move from Larson. They really allowed him, and he had that trust in his tires to make that move, and make that move he did, and he will be happy with that one. And I think Azir is next on the shopping block.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head with that. Larson getting through on Rutenius there, it saved him a bit of work. It really saved him a bit of work. It was a risk given the fact that Rutenius may not have seen him. But of course, now that he's in the 5th position, if he's able to catch Azir quickly, and he will because he'll have DRS down to turn 1. If he's able to keep up with Tuptus on those medium compound tires, that is absolute music to his ears.
Well, he's been keeping up so far because Larson started P9, although what has happened there? He's had a big issue. He's had to completely cut the chicane, or the last corner of it, turn 15, and now Rutenius, you can see Larson's not gaining any time as a result, so he's not going to get penalized for his actions, but you can see
here goes Daniel.
So much time because the other Alfa Romeo, Daniel up the inside into turn 1. I think it's too late for him though, and it is. And on the soft tires, he's not going to find any grip, and no grip he finds. Into the wall he goes, and he's lucky he didn't retire there. That was a high-speed impact.
Yeah, that was tough. He's got some fast movers now coming through. The Alpha Tauri's Jean. BTFU coming through, and this is real tight as the Ferrari of Beccario is in the mix as well. Daniel playing the role of an anchor in this grid right now.
And BTFU looking on the outside of turn 5. Not somewhere you usually see a move, and we're not going to see one here. It's just not going to work out for you. BTFU a little bit too much curve, I think, through turn 7 into 8. As they come through 9, you can see Daniel there struggling big time on those aging softs. He's given BTFU a little squeeze. I don't think it was too bad. And BTFU, well, you're looking for a way past, but Daniel just making it as difficult as possible. And even on those, tires that are now, after that incident, probably feeling completely shot, will be heading into the pit lane, I'm sure, at least sooner rather than later. Not this lap, though. Oh, that's very late. He's hit the bollard there.
Yeah, that's not what you want to be doing. Beccario now with a potential opportunity on BT here. I mean, they both have the DRS. BT just outside of range on his teammate. Ooh, Remco Van Putten knocking on Beccario's door, and I didn't even see it coming in the rear view, but there goes Remco up the inside of Beccario.
Well, Remco Van Putten, he's a strong driver, and well, when he's about, you got to expect the unexpected. He is an aggressive driver, and a lot of the times it works for moves like that. Now up into P9, into the points. He does have a penalty to his name already, which isn't good news. Is his teammate Freeware. He's looking at the Ferrari as well, and up the inside of turn 9 for the German driver who crashed out there in qualifying. That was a bold move, and Beccario's going to return it with one as well. Hugely deep into the hairpin, and Freeware takes P10 back, and Beccario drops to 12.
Oh, Dark!
Dark.
Well, Dark, he had an opportunity, but I think he just misjudged the turn, and he just went straight on into the gravel trap there. I don't know if there was contact, but now this has cost him heavily to Sedan, and here we go, Azir, Rutenius exchanging once again through turns 1 and 2. Rutenius in 4th position. Yellow flag coming up through turn 7.
Coffee sipper. He's missing a big portion of that front wing, not going well for him. But a lot of drama unfolding here. The battle for P4 really heating up right now. Tuptus, he's left. He is gone, and that is bad news for Larsen. He's stuck behind Rutanius and Azir, who are locked in combat for that 4th place, and they'll be having the time of their lives. But Larsen, he does not want to get stuck in this fight. It's not his fight. He is on tires that now should really be waking up, getting past these soft runners and starting to hunt down the leaders, just as Tuptus is doing, just before these soft runners come in for their pit window, which won't be too long now, depending on whether they go for the soft medium or the soft hards. Both strategies should be viable. Coffee Sipper, he's into the pits. Freeware picks up a time penalty, and Larsen now, he's getting so close to his ear. Not finding a way past. He's never going to find it through that chicane, and that, getting so close there, has cost him now a little bit of a run down the start-finish straight.
All right, here we go. Jean off the softs. He says it's time. BT unleashed here. Remco says it doesn't matter. It's too late, my friend. And it's a drag race into turn 1 here, Unicorn, between, well, the sister teams. And here we go. Remco on the inside with a nice operation, getting it done into 7th position. Freeware now, the other Red Bull, charging through on the inside of turn 3, coming into turn 4. Is he going to have enough braking power here to get it on the inside of BT? Very nice racing between these two. He'll get through. The Renault in 10th position now will be looking next to Dispatch BTFU. And it's a battle now between hards and mediums. Freeware showing some great paces. There's an issue coming through the final turn. Scotty, maybe an issue on his tires on his way into the pit lane, but that was a great exchange of racing coming through that first sector, Unicorn.
Yeah, that was really nice to see, and that's sort of some racing we haven't seen a lot from Freeware recently. He has been on a stroke of bad luck, and seeing him race like that, that is what you want to see from him. He is such a quick driver, and it just seems like this season he hasn't been able to showcase that pace. But here in Spain, on the hards, on that Red Bull, he is putting on quite the show. Azir on Rutanius, looking for it around the outside of turn 1. He finds it, and Rutanius back behind the Spanish driver for P4. This battle still going on, and Larsen, he's still struggling to catch these two. He is really struggling to get past the other battle going on. The 2 Red Bulls leading ahead of the Renault of Jamie. No exchanges there so far. BTFU as well in this mix. BTFU, he might get past here. Jamie has a little look up the inside into turn 4, but it's not going to happen. The 2 Red Bulls starting to break away a little bit from the AlphaTauri.
One thing to note here, of course, is Zir, Rutanius, they're giving each other that slingshot. Really, they break themselves away from Larsen. Until those softs really drop off, it will still provide difficult for Larsen to overtake them.
Yeah, and I think, it's not an easy track to overtake around, but when we saw the move earlier that saw, I think it was Larsen on Rutanius, and as he is into the pits, Rutanius follows him. The 2 leaders are in as well. Milan, Sindarko, they're in too, but I'm not sure if Rutanius was planning on pitting or just following his ear and seeing what he did, but the dominoes are falling, Striff, and the soft runners have all caved in. It was Jean, the only other, and he's gone for the soft mediums, and it looks like that is the popular strategy. So a 2-stop for most people, it would seem.
Milan making it out into 3rd position. Sandako 2.4 on his rear now. Freeware into 5th. Remco into 6th. They're on the hards. BTFU. He has been overtaken for 7th position now as the Renault is in front of him.
Forward Rutanius getting past one Williams so that he can continue to hunt down the other. And he's just about saved himself DRS there. Very important move for the Dutchman, who apparently was planning that pit stop according to Alex Bud, who seems to be engineering about 3 Dutchmen this evening.
He's the Dutch circus handler.
That's his role. He's an honorary member of that Dutch community that seems to just be exponentially growing here in MRL, and you love to see it. Got more and more Dutch drivers every week, and now Alex Budd pulling the strings on the puppet. I think he's engineering Neon, Routinius, and Coffee Zipper at the same time. All three on very different races right now. Here goes Azir, getting past Dark, clearing some traffic. And Routinius is going to want to follow suit soon. The Haas on 13 lap old hards. They won't be feeling too bad.
Well, there
he
goes.
Doesn't have to do any work.
Yeah, that's not really a lot of heavy lifting for him there. Dark now gonna try and take it easy, get that car turned around.
Oh, he's got it turned around. He's just waiting off circuits for a clear moment. And massive evasive action. He'll be thankful that he didn't just lose a front wing for the second time in a row.
He gave a bit of a weave there. I think he's not too thrilled about that on track, and that was definitely something I'd be also quite understandably frustrated with. That's a very rough situation to come through a turn as fast as turn 3 and have a car there. Scotty now, he's had an issue. He's in 19th position. He's not having a good run today. It's good old Scotty Barreros there, and good guy, Scotty.
A couple of drivers struggling. But you sort of see that in these endurance races. You do get a couple people who, when you struggle early on, it just compounds that, especially around a short circuit like this where it's so easy to get lapped. It really is tricky when you have early issues, and as soon as you get lapped, that means that a safety car, it might not be your saving grace anymore.
Yeah, in those situations, of course, coming through sectors of circuit, high speed like that, it's very important to pay attention to, especially in sessions where ghosting is disabled like these, for those yellow flags that you're prompted with. Could just save your race.
Yeah, those yellow flags, when you see them, paying attention to that track map does a world of good. It's BTFU a little bit deep, chasing Jamie Franzi for that P7 spot. That's another thing as well. Freeware, he seems to have found some pace here. He is doing mightily well. He's almost put 1 second between his teammate and himself. And if he breaks that DRS, well, who knows where he could end up, because he's on these hards that he started this race on. He is going to be going for quite some time, maybe even for the softs. I imagine it would be for the mediums, but either way, a 1 stop for him. And right now, he's leading these starting hards. And with the pace he's got right now, he could see himself in a nice finishing position. The 1 stop. No one who started on the soft is going for it. They've all gone for the soft, medium. So we'll just see where the German lands in all of this. But if he keeps running at the rate he's going now, it's going to be a strong point-scoring position for him.
Coffee Sipper really struggling on the penalties now, up to 12 seconds. He's the first driver to reach that many. Dark Acraid now would appear to have had an exchange as Acraid into 17th position on the fresher rubber. Dark on the starting hards. John hunting down Varrock. Of course, there's a tire differential here, but I think we might just see an overtake coming out of the AlphaTauri.
Everything's coming down, and well, I say it's coming down, but I think that's Daniel Manaf. It is.
Oh, he's right on circuit right now. There's a reset to circuit as well. Very, very scary there as both drivers try to avoid him. Oh man, that was very, very scary.
I think he reset to try to get out of the way, and he's got Neon drowned out of turn 9.
That is not good.
I think what happened there, Daniel reset to track thinking he was going to be in the way of the Ferrari, who expected him to be in the way, avoided him. He then avoided the Ferrari that had already passed, which put him in the way of the Haas. So just...
Neon's crashed.
Well, he is...
That's not going to help his race even remotely. It's a long race. We're not even halfway. I hope he finds it in him to continue. I hope he finds it in him to continue, because it's a long race with safety car potential.
But he is going to get lapped here right now. And That's not good news for him. Like you said, I hope he continues because he's got a lot of pace in that McLaren. But here comes Toptus. And it's going to be something we don't see too often.
Larson still have to pit. He might be okay. Milan's
about to lap him too.
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough situation.
But Neon, if there's anyone who's got enough pace to unlap himself right now, it's he, but he's going to get stuck in this traffic now. And there's another person of his four-door sedan.
Oh, wow. That is not good at all. See, things starting to come in, and the degradation maybe. Azir, Becario just in front of Rutanius here exchanging, and Rutanius charging down into turn 1. Maybe looking for a door left open there from Becario. I think he wanted to slip through. He's going to try soon. There's a very, very clear tire differential here.
And tires at this stage of the race, they start to play a huge role, not only in determining who is, in the lead right now, but who's going to end up in the lead at the end of things, because it's really all down to it. Rutanius right now, he's got a good run on Becario. He almost tried it into turn 9. He had a great run out of 8, and now he should get him down into 10. But Becario putting up a valiant defense to the inside. The Ferrari defending from the Alfa Romeo. It's side by side, wheel to wheel. And Becario defends it, gets a bit shaky, and Rutanius not able to find any moves on the inside. There's another issue. It looks like that is Coffee Sipper once more. It is. But my oh my, there is a lot of action. A lot of people struggling already, Striv.
Yeah, it's been a very, very hard day for the Renault Coffee Sipper. Now we see Rutanius making an easy move, breezing by Becario. 13 lap fresher rubber for Rutanius. Now into the points paying positions. Run lap 19 out of 66, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to everybody in the chat, and we hope you're enjoying the race so far. Still tons of action to come, and I have a feeling we've only just seen the beginning of some of the unique scenarios in this one, Unicorn.
Yeah, I think it only gets, more interesting from here, because now we're just seeing the start of the tire windows. We haven't even seen where Freeware, Remco, BT are going to land with those starting hards. We've got Toptus, Larson on the starting mediums still up at the front of things. We haven't seen the second pit window for the guys who are doing the soft medium, so there's still a lot to play for here. Pretty much everyone's still on for it, and we'll see what happens in the climax. But right now, a lot of drivers outside of DRS, and when you're outside of DRS around here, that is, it leads you to drop back a little bit. We've got Acraid right now going around the outside of four-door sedan into turn 10. The Ferrari on 8-lap-old mediums compared to four-door sedan's 18-lap-old mediums. But four-door putting on a valiant defense to just secure P14. And the Williams just holds off the Ferrari, and there's no overtaking opportunities through Sector 3 unless the driver ahead makes a mistake. So it's not going to happen for the Ferrari there, but can he get him here? A good run out of the final corner can lead to a position into turn 1, and look at the speed from the Ferrari. Easily just breezes past the Williams, who is going to have absolutely nothing to say about it, even down into turn 1, and he avoids, or loses, P14 to the Ferrari there, and it's done and dusted for Acraid. Elsewhere, not too much going on the grid. How this went with
Milan. He's catching up with Larson and Toptus, and of course we saw Milan. He's on his second stint now.
Second stint. He's got the faster tires, those mediums now. We saw it with the softs as the mediums. We're now seeing it versus mediums and fresh mediums. Obviously, the fresher mediums are always going to have the pace, but those ones ahead, they're going to be dying out. Interesting enough, Milan is burning a lot of energy. He's even using it through turn 2. Coffee Sipper's out. He's crashed.
Uh-oh.
Is that a safety car?
It might just be a VSC. It's a VSC. So we have a VSC deployment lap 21. That's definitely going to neutralize the plans Milan had for Larson.
I'm actually quite stunned that Varrock there didn't come into the pit lane. He's on 19 lap old mediums, and he was right in front of the pit lane when that BSC came out. And it's not a full safety car, but you can still gain a few seconds from it.
We'll just see who's able
he
to...
is taking advantage.
There we go, back to green flag racing. Milan less than 3/10 as it came down into turn 10. Looking to see if anybody happened to catch a drive-through, and it would appear everybody got away.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a little bit easy to pick those up, you know, trying to get the best launch you can. Larson, and a little bit of slide through 14, 15. That's going to compromise his speed right here. And well, who's there to pick up the pieces? It's Milan in that Mercedes, taking P2 straight away from the McLaren. Now, Tuptus, what a drive he's been having. He's been hunted down by Larson. Still managing to hold on to leader things right now, though, and with a good chunk of battery left in that Racing Point 2. So we'll see where he can end up in this one. Right now, Milan hot on his heels, looking for race leader things. He started this one in P1. He'll be looking to regain that position right now.
He's got all the cards in his favor right now, this Mercedes. He's got everything that he needs. He's got the better tires. He has the DRS. He has Larson dropping off his rear. He's got Tuptus without the DRS in front of him, of course. And with the worn tires, who could think of anything else other than an overtake into turn 1 for Milan here? The one thing Milan needs to do is he needs to watch his battery, like you've said, and he's just dancing around that low 20s, mid 20s area. He's been burning it a lot down the straights. Tuptus and Larson, they've been way better on it. Here we go again. Full utilization, rear wing wide open. Tuptus, let's see, does he go bone dry to 0? This could be what holds him off. Tuptus later on the brakes. Not too bad on the brakes. A little bit of contact. Larson might get an opportunity on Tuptus here, coming through 3. He definitely got close enough. A little bit of a tap maybe on the rear of that Racing Point. But Milan has gone through into first position. Now it's between Tuptus and Larson. Larson's been hunting him all race long.
I gotta say, that's a huge mistake from Tuptus. The fact that he even tried to defend from Milan there. It was always going to cost him time to Larson behind, time that he really could have used. Yeah. And instead, it cost him massive amounts of time because there was that contact in between them.
No DRS
he really needn't defended that.
He's got no DRS here. And this is going to bring Larson closer. He's within that half-second range. We see a pit stop coming out of Jean now. Let's see what happens. Let's see when these medium runners start to come in and say, hey, it's enough. But I still think we might have a couple laps here. I don't think Larson gives up on this fight unless Tuptus pits.
I mean, Larson, for him, he started P9, Tuptus started P7. This is brilliant for him. He is, putting in a strong effort here. And now he might even have the move. He does. Look at the speed. DRS. That is exactly why Tuptus needed to try and stay with Milan, because the McLaren now has just taken him when he's completely defenseless. And there it is. An easy move for Larson to pick off P2. And now he's in a strong position. He's not net lead. Milan has got that one right now. If both drivers have to pit again before the end of this race. And the difference being Larson will go to hards.
I think everybody on this grid is coming in again. I think every single driver on this grid is coming in again, with exception of maybe four-door sedan and John.
Yeah, I think they're going to the end. But everyone else, I have to agree with you, Striff. I think they're all coming in.
I don't think Neon will make it.
Absolutely not. No way.
We're still not halfway.
The tire wear here is so huge.
I love these races. I really do. My big question is, where are Larson and Tuptus going to drop out? We've got Freeware and Remco on the hards as well, with Jamie right behind.
And Jamie's having a strong race. It's his home Grand Prix as well, I do believe. And considering he had that qualifying issue, we knew he was going to be late to qualifying. He got thrown down to the back of this grid. Coffee sipper didn't go well for him. He had the same issue. But for Jamie right now, he is holding on very well. He's up to P7. And in and amongst drivers on the hard compound tires, he's probably going to be on the reverse strategy. Maybe a medium hards. Maybe he goes medium soft. Who knows? But right now, given that he is on that alternate strategy, he's around people who still have to pit at the same time. He's on for a good result here. And considering where he started, it's been a very, very impressive drive from him.
Trying to take a look at all these tire strategies we're seeing here in the hards. There's such an interesting tire to look at here, and I don't have any idea of how long these compounds go. Of course, you and I were so used to those 50% races. All these drivers were so used to those 50% races. I mean, the 100%ers are the rarity, and I find them so fun and interesting to watch. Tuptuss,
Tire strategies that they prevent is great.
It really is. Tuptuss, I love this battle that we're seeing right now between second and third, because you can just see Tuptuss, because Larsen hasn't been able to get himself back in that rain. Oh no, what's happened here, Jean? What's happened with Jean and where?
He's crashed out of turn, well, going into turn 3.
Oh, there he is, VSC.
He's facing the wrong... How has he managed that one? He must have bounced off the inside wall coming out of turn 2. You see it a lot of the time where someone comes out of turn 2 a little bit happy on the throttle on the outside curb, spins it, hits the inside wall, but he must be going at quite some speed. Tried to save it, slammed into the wall, and bounced off because his car is backwards on the outside of turn 3. That's not usually where you see it. And now, surely this is an opportunity, depending on how long this VSC stays out, this might be an opportunity for Larsen to pit. They're not too far away from that pit lane. You can see there, Varrock this time, I said last time I was a bit surprised, this time he does come in. He goes to the hards.
These incidents, I mean, shockingly enough, knock wood, we haven't seen any major incidents coming out of 9 yet.
Well, with the exception of a couple in qualifying.
Sindako just picked up a drive-through penalty, ladies and gentlemen, due to a speeding under the safety car, the VSC. And that is a big wrench. That is a big wrench in your plans if you're 4th position driver. Net P2. Net P2. Azir on the move. Taking BTFU into turn 1. Easy as you like.
It's not race over though for Sindaka, who comes up just behind Rutanius, and Rutanius, he's not been having a bad race himself. They're on the same strategy, so Sindako, he has been dropped quite substantially in this grid as a result of that drive through, but at least he's still with someone on the same strategy as him, so it's not game over. He's still got an opportunity, and that's one of the beautiful things about these races. We're not quite halfway through, we're nearly there, but he's got plenty of time to regain a couple of places, have a good strategy call here or there, and he can still be on for a strong finish. He's still in the top 10, still in those point scoring positions, so he just needs to sort of put that one behind him and try and push through.
Well, you can take a look at the situation. As I said, not that bad. 6 drivers in front of Sindako yet to pit right now. The gap, not that significant that he could not gain positions when those pit stops start to come through. And they have started to come through now. Larsen, Tuptuss calling it in, and these two are going to continue to dance all race long as they come out of the pit lane now as well. And we'll just have to see what happens. John now leaving the session. See who else comes into the pit lane here. Dark has jumped onto some mediums. See Larsen and Tuptuss now. 28 laps, 27 laps is how long they went on those mediums. Now we're going here on the hards, and they'll be going to the end, I imagine.
They will, and interesting enough, Jamie there, he stayed out, so he is continuing to just push through. He's on the same strategy. Picario as well, he's yet to come in the Ferrari, so trying to go for a little bit of an overcut maybe. He's got to be careful, but we'll see how it works out for him. And I think that I think the medium soft is still open for him. I think you could still go for it. I wouldn't really recommend it, given that those other two have gone for the hards to the end. But if he thinks that there's pace to be gained from doing that strategy, I don't think it's off the table. It's a risk, it's a gamble. But if it does work, it'll be looking pretty smart at the end of things. Here he comes into the pit lane, the Renault. Getting off of those medium tires. 27 laps he's done on those. Sindarko, he sets fastest lap of the race. On 15 lap old mediums, a 118.3.
Tarzan, Tuptus. They're still fighting. Tuptus on the inside into turn 1 with the DRS, of course. And still tight is... Oh, that was very close. Very close. Still close coming through turn 3. Tuptus not yet getting that move back on Larsen. These guys have been wheel to wheel through turn 1 now, coming out of turn 4. Tuptus gets the move done after a 4-turn battle.
Yeah,
Larsen a little shaky
there
on that inside on turn 1.
I'm not sure if you saw it, Striff, but just ahead of these two, the other McLaren and Neon, he's had yet another issue. He came off outside of turn 4 into the gravel trap, and now he sits just ahead of these guys. He's in P16.
Oh.
And it's all Tuptus. Was there contact between them? Larsen's got damage on his front wing.
Yeah, he just tapped Tuptus in the rear there, and that is definitely going to spoil this battle that we've been witnessing for now 30 laps. Oh, well, VSC has been deployed again, and I'm not entirely sure why. It's Adam.
Daniel Manaf, yeah. He's crashed. It's the first turn line victim we've had in the race. Neon's called in the pit lane. But not a safety car. Another VSC. Vicario, he takes advantage. He's coming to the pit lane. Perfectly timed for him. He'll be happy with that one. As, well, he's being held by a very stationary Neon. There we go, Neon's car disappearing. But for Vicario, he took full advantage of that there, and then he gets held in the pits by a very still McLaren that just sort of parked it in the pit lane for some reason. Thankfully, that's been cleared. We've had that issue here before. I want to say it was Spain where we had that issue where we got a car stuck in the pit lane.
I'm trying to think back. You might be right.
So thankfully, that one's got rid of it before we have to relive that horror. But we've still got battles up and down this grid. Sindarko on the rear of BTFU. See what he can do. 29 lap old hards versus 16 lap old mediums.
Sindarko. Here we have it. Clean run here on BT. BT has been on these hard since the beginning. Same as Freeware, same as Remco.
BTFU as well went a little wide there. He kicked up some dirt on the outside of the start-finish straight, and I don't know whether he was just trying to give Sindarko as much of space as he possibly could, but he went a little bit too far to the left there. Ran into that gravel or grass on the left-hand side.
Lap 31 out of 66, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in here so far. We've had 3 VSCs, no full safety cars so far, and quite a difference in tire strategy. 4 drivers out so far. Daniel, Neon, John, and Coffee Sipper all out of the equation.
Coffee Sipper finally leaves the lobby. Retired some time ago, but it's a shame to see, the race that he had. Very unfortunate he is. We're sort of pushing the boat out a little bit, trying to do an endurance race after a couple of 25% races over in the Academy division. Not streamed, of course, but he did it last week. It didn't end particularly well around Vietnam for him, but he did finish that race this week, not being quite so successful here in Spain. Remco Van Putten. Freeware seems to have much more pace than his teammate right now, but DRS is just holding the Dutchman to Freeware. And Freeware, despite not having DRS, got more ERS in the tank, so you could definitely see the pace difference between the two of them.
Couple of charging bulls here, Unicorn. 2 and 3 right now, 2.5 ahead of Azir on the different strategy. Things.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't quite know what they're gonna do with the hards here. The mediums, I think, has to be the call, but when they land in this grid, they're gonna be on faster tires than everyone else. But how far back are they gonna drop? It could work out for them nicely. You can see Fordor, they're letting them past, so they can't drop too far, but they are gonna drop, and they've got some people closing in on them now. Azir, Sindaku, the likes of them. And that's the biggest problem for these Red Bull drivers. If they lose the gap that they've got behind them, it's not going to be long until we see them into the pit lane, but it will be, I want to say, a good 4 laps until we see the mediums on those cars. So I reckon about lap 36 or so. Or even then, that's a bit early. So lap 38, 39, I think we start to see these guys coming in. And by that time, the cars behind, they might catch DRS, and that's going to be a big problem for this alternate hard starting strategy, where it's been wonders for them in the starting phase of the race, but at the end of it, bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. We're right at that halfway mark now. Well, not exactly, because Milan's just a little bit ahead of us, but as we come into Sector 2 with the Red Bulls, yeah, we're here on lap 33, of course, out of 66, and Acraid, 22 lap old mediums within range of Jamie and 10th there, and Uptus, Larsen, Jamie all on those fresher hards. Strategy's playing quite a role here. Penalties also going to come into the equation. We haven't seen any full safety cars yet. That could still play out here in this race, which would really probably upset a couple drivers on this grid now, in Tuptus and Larsen and anyone that's on, a strategy where they've just come in.
Yeah, but a safety car, I think, would really shake things up, because it forces people into the pit lane, even people who didn't really want to.
That's right.
Pit. So, these medium runners who right now have an advantage, even Azir, Sindaku, they're not going to be too far out of the pit lanes themselves, as Acraid is in the pit lane. The retirement coming from P11, not quite sure what's happened there. The Ferrari to call it quits in the pit lane, but it is. But yeah, going back to the point, Azir, Sindaku, they've got an advantage over Remco and Freewell right now. If a safety car came out soon, it would remove that advantage. It would equalize it. The problem there, though, Remco Van Putten would get double stack behind Freewell. That would hold him. So there's a lot of people who would lose out to a safety car right now. A lot of the time we talk about how advantageous a free pit is. It can also be a huge headache for a few of these drivers, and it would be if we saw one in the next couple of laps.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt in my mind. Remco just sticking, as you said, to his teammate with that DRS, and Freeware and him haven't really been dancing with the battery too much. Milan in a world of his own right now on that medium strat. 16.4 seconds and increasing ahead of the German driver behind him in Freeware. Britannius, 21 lap old mediums. Catching up well with BTFU here coming through turn 3, and this will be an overtake in waiting.
I don't think it's going to be long. Azir has caught about 6/10 in probably about half as many laps, about 3 laps. So Remco Van Putten and Freeware, they'll be thinking about pitting, and they're going to see that Williams in their rearview mirror soon, and it's going to be a real struggle. Remco Van Putten, he hasn't got too much pace either left in these hards. You've seen him. He's been holding off, just holding on to Freeware's DRS as the sun starts to shine here in Spain. It's got a lot brighter over the last couple of laps as well. But Azir is really catching at his home race, and I'll be looking for it.
Another retirement.
Yeah, he's out in the pit lane as well. I think a lot of these drivers are in no man's land. Realize they're about to be lapped, and well, no, he hasn't cost in the pits. He's on track. It's a safety car.
Whoa! What?
He's crashed into the inside pit wall. How has he managed that?
We have a safety car deployed. Oh my.
Lars is coming in for mediums. This is a nice call for him. For the leaders, it's not too bad that they did get out ahead of that safety car. But I was so confused. I thought I was in the pit lane, given the way that dot was on the map. But then you come round the corner, Freeway and Remco Van Putten, and right there, sat on the middle, there's a Mercedes in the grass.
Well, this has really... I'll tell you, Milan is not going to be even remotely happy about losing a 17.1 second lead here.
Yeah, he had a pit stop in the bag, basically.
This man was almost a full pit stop ahead of Freeware, and now that work has just come crashing down. And you gotta feel for that. You gotta feel for that. Freeware, Remco, they are gonna be laughing.
Well, Remco's not. He's gonna get double stacked. He's gonna lose out to...
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, he's still gonna be not happy, but happy about it, but he's gonna lose a lot of positions. Whereas Freeways... Remco's just lost this race to Freeway right now. Unless Freeway makes a mistake, Remco is well. There's a mistake, taking 3 seconds into the pit lane.
Well, yeah, that's just hurting yourself now.
And Freeway did crash out in qualifying, so it's not impossible that we see it again. There goes Remco into the pit lane, getting held for quite some time. And where does he come out? We've got Freeway up in P2. Milan's gone for hards. Does Milan start on the mediums? I don't think he did. Milan's gone for hards. I think that's a huge mistake. Yeah, he started on the softs. Why has he done that? The mediums from here, with the safety car, they can go. But the hards... If he wasn't happy about the safety car and losing the lead, well, he might have just gifted it to Freeware. Because Freeware has had astonishing pace so far today. And now, he's on a faster compound tyre. Apparently, he was out of
crazy.
Medium compound tyres. He chose the softer tyre option, but... Well, he'll be kicking himself for that decision right now, because he's got some fast movers. Remco Van Putten, he only dropped to Azir and Sindarko, who he probably would have dropped to anyway. So the double stack hasn't cost him too much, like you said.
Azir is going to be thrilled being in the position he is now in around his home circuit here. Sindarko with another crack to get himself back onto that front row. Gaudy, Dark, and Fordor unfortunately lapped here.
Yeah, when you're in that situation here, that I think Dark's trying to unlap himself here. I think he's thought better of it. Oh, what is going on in that Haas? He's got some sort of connection issue, I think. I just saw him slam into the wall and then change across. And that was very, very shaky from him. But he seems to be okay. So it might just be a visual error rather than a problem. Fingers crossed the drivers aren't seeing that, because that can be very unnerving to drive behind. This will also just bring everyone together, in an endurance race like this, where everyone's been sort of sat on their own for a little while now, with the pit window spreading everyone out. This is a big wake-up call, and we're past the point where we'd be finished if this was a typical MRL League race. 50% one, we'd be done, dusted. Now it's like we're just doing 2 50% races. The tyres are equalized. We're all on fresh starting tyres. And we're going to get a rolling restart. We might even get it this lap. I don't think Beccaria is close enough. We might get a late call. Spain does love it. There it is.
Boom. Safety car on the way in here, lap 38. So green flag racing on lap 39 out of 66. Milan, Freeware, Azir, your top three. Milan on the hard compound tires. The only driver on the grid to jump onto them. And we'll have to see how it pays off at both the restart here and long-term for him in this one. This entirety of the grid has been bunched back up. A couple of back markers in the field. You can see a couple of gaps between Larsen and Uptus. Mario and Jamie, they have some back marker traffic there. Here we go. Here's the restart. Milan's away. Yeah, he's on a rocket launch here. Freeware's in big trouble.
Well, down into turn one they go. It's the Spaniard on the inside of the German. It's brought him back into the podium finishing positions at his home race, and he's looking for P2. Freeway a little bit shaky out of turn two, and we've seen that move once already today. Sindako up the inside, down in turn three, and he's made the move stick. Can he hold it on? It was a little late on the brakes, and Remco Van Puyen's looking for a move. There was not a lot of space on his teammate, but he's found somewhere it didn't exist, and he goes around
what
the
a
outside
move
now of turn five. Remco Van Puyen, you love to see it like that. That is absolutely beautiful stuff, as Seb would say. Put that one to music, because that was absolutely sublime from the Dutchman.
That was an amazing restart. Look at all of the exchanges that we got to see coming through that first sector into the second sector. BTFU now Tuptus on his inside as we come through into turn 10. Tuptus gets the move done. And things are just so nice to see as these battles continue to forge ahead into lap 40. Milan still within range of Azir, and I don't think Azir is going to let him go. Azir, with potential to win his home race, just set the fastest lap of this campaign, Unicorn, at 17.907. He's on the medium compound tires within half a second. Within half a second of Milan on the slower rubber right now.
More importantly, he's got about a second behind as well. Sindaku's dancing on that 9/10 range, but we did see it tick over to that 1 second mark. If he gets that, the DRS detection zone is just before turn 9, so if he's there, Sindaku's actually closing back up now, and I don't think the Spaniard is going to break that chain, but if he did, and he might do if he continues his pace. Remember, we only seen 2 laps now, or 1.5 under the safety car restart, so there's always potential, but with the safety car, with the DRS not being gained, we've got another lap without it, but it will be enabled this time next lap. Sindaku really pushing though, really putting in lap times and pushing.
Well, we're going to figure out who the fastest in this train is shortly, as I have a feeling once all of these drivers come across the line, we're going to have a new driver holding on to this fastest lap here, potentially in the form of Sindaku, potentially in the form of maybe Remco Van Puyen, maybe even Azir. Who knows? We'll see it now if anyone comes through and resets that lap, but no one's getting it done. So that means Azir still holding on to that 17.9. Nobody able to really dethrone that lap time yet. He's still very tight to the rear of Milan, not enough to make a move.
There's another point as well. Milan is on the hard compound tires. If Azir doesn't get past quickly, there's going to be a turning point.
There will.
The mediums will make it to the end of the race, but they will not be as fast as they want. If Milan's got the pace now on the hards, he will have the pace on the hards at the end, whereas the medium runners, they will not. So if Milan can hold up this train like he is doing now, he has got a strong result on his hands. He's looked so good so far. It looked like it might have been a mistake, whether he'd run out of tires or not, but it could work out for him if he can hold him back.
Well, solid train all the way down to 10th position right now, where there's just a tiny bit of separation starting to form with the Renault of Jamie. Vicario 1.1 on his rear in the Ferrari. Let's see who has an opportunity to make a run here into turn 1. Maybe Remco Van Puyen. We know what he's able to do. He's using that battery out of the final turn. I think this is a charge. Yes, it is. Sindaku's on notice. The Red Bull is charging at him. Coming down the very long pit straight here into turn 1. Surely later on the brakes. The Dutchman now on the inside. Back through on the outside of turn 2. Through on the inside now for turn 3. Sayonara, says the Dutchman, but Sindaku isn't finished. The Italian says that's not how you get it done on me, my friend, and he switches it back into 3rd position. And what a fight we're witnessing here. The Dutchman now back on the way into 5 on the inside. Lockups for both drivers, and hello We have some serious wheel-to-wheel action here on lap 42 as we come into Sector 2 freeware, less than half a second behind this.
Well, Remco Van Puten's a very aggressive driver. He goes for those moves, those late braking. I don't think he was expecting to get a taste of his own medicine quite so soon after dishing it out. Sindarko, what a play, what a move up the inside into turn 4 that was. Just bringing it back, knowing that it's so much harder to get it done around 5. We did see Remco do it earlier, but he's not got it quite to do it again. And with the train we're in, this battle can last for quite some time, and tire management is going to be key for the final few portions of this race, the few laps.
Knock, knock, Unicorn. I think the Azir train is about to get broken here with Milan. Oh, he was charging. I thought he was going to go for that run. Azir showing great patience right now.
I don't think that was patience. I don't think he could have gone for that move. I think it would have been far too late. He was chasing him down, but with DRS, you expect that. So the fact that he didn't get past is just credit to what Milan is doing in those final few corners, getting an exit out of turns 15 and 16 to give him that run of speed he needs, because he's using a lot of ERS to stay there, but he knows he needs to burn it now so that when he has the tire advantage, it's everyone else burning it to try and get past. It's going to be tight though. It's going to be to the checkered flag, I think, and that is the kind of race you love to watch.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there, and I'm just shocked that these hards still with Milan paying off so well for him in this track position right now, and they're just going to give him that, as you said, there's going to be that tipping point. There's going to be that crossover where we're going to potentially see the fighting capability in these mediums fade away to the point where Milan's just able to cruise out in front of this race. So there is a clock on Azir in his ability to potentially overtake Milan here, and not to really, you know, blow up the scenario, but there are penalties that play a role here as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you've always got to pay attention to that. You've got to keep that in the back of your mind, but there's always the chance that someone else gets a penalty. You get another penalty. So it can't lead you too much into what you're saying. Freeway, he has 9 seconds, so he's sort of the outlier here. Milan, penalty free. That is huge for him. Even if he does get past now and he can hold on to the late stages, he might be able to inherit it, but we've still got 22 laps. We're 2/3 of the way through this race.
Oh, BTFU has had an issue coming out into turn 9, and he is staring this grid down as they pass him by, and that is a hard position to find yourself in. Scotty.
Oh, it's it. He's gone wide. Sindarko might find a way through here. He doesn't, but Azir's lucky.
He's going to have to really push here to try and maintain that separation that he had with Milan. If Milan absolutely sends it right now, he could pull a gap. Freeware Remco. Looks like a little bit of a dance is about to happen between teammates here. Doesn't look like team orders are coming into play here, as Remco squeezing him as far inside as humanly possible. This is going to open up Freeware to Rutanius.
Yeah, I think even if this was for the combined constructors, Remco Van Puten, I've seen it plenty of times in APAC Division this season. He doesn't really care if you're with him or against him. He is going to defend whatever position he's got, be it ally or opponent. And Freeware, well, he's just found that one out. And even here in the endurance race where the combined constructor doesn't exist, constructors itself doesn't exist, Remco Van Puten is going to use that Red Bull that he is so well known for driving to its greatest advantage. Sindarko has a little look up the inside of his ear into turn 10. Not going to find it though. And Milan still leads this race, and he is doing so very well to keep it there.
An exchange between back markers now as Scotty and Dark exchange for 12th position. Not the greatest of races for the pair of them. Four-door also in that lapped equation right now. Freeware again within a solid range of Remco. Remco this time not nearly as close as the last time they went through into turn 1. Maybe Freeware deciding it's not time. Azir gets Milan for lead of this race as we come into turn 1. And that's what he needs.
To go now.
He needs to run away.
He needs to break this DRS within the next 2 or 3 laps, realistically. He's got ERS. It's possible. It is possible. And he also needs Milan to hold Sindaku behind him. And Azir, he's doing a good job right now, but he needs to really just put his pedal to the metal. ERS all the way down this straight, the start-finish straight. He's not using it. He's got pace, but he's not using that ERS, and he really needs to.
Yeah, he needs to get the heck out of Dodge right now. He needs to give everything he can to break this snake behind him, this train that is just following him along. He needs to separate himself by a good enough margin to Milan here. And he's doing a good job of it. He's doing a good job of it right now. He's starting to pull away, but Milan... Oh, look at Milan's battery.
You can't hold off DRS. Even with Milan's battery at flat, you can't hold off. It's the Docker on the outside.
Oh, that's what happens when you run bone dry battery, ladies and gentlemen. Sindako with some fireworks. Hello.
But he's outside of DRS. He's lost DRS on
That's
Azir.
Huge for Azir. Massive for Azir, the Spaniard.
But he's pushing. He might get it back. DRS detection just outside turn 9. And he's back inside. He's back inside. He's pushed. And they're about equal on ERS as well. He needs to be in within 1 second right now. He needs this to be good. It is good, and he should have it. There's the timing line. He's got it. He's done it. Sindaco not only took Milan, but he also went and made sure to close the gap to Azir. What a drive this man is having right now. That Racing Point is flying right now.
If I'm Milan,
we just saw what Milan did with no ERS down the start finish straight strip. Sindaku's got ERS. Azir's in big trouble.
I think Milan's in big trouble with Remco Van Putten behind him too, with those Red Bulls doing what they're doing. We'll have to see how that pans out, but Azir, well, he's burning that ERS now. If he wasn't burning it before, Sindako without that DRS into turn 1.
Freeware on the outside of his teammate. Doesn't find it, but that's good news for Milan.
Oh, and Rutanius wants Freeware and Remco to get engaged in some battle here so he can sneak through. You have him in 6th position, Tuptus following along. The train is still very strong here in this fight for podium positions and major points.
Yeah, still no break in the DRS train. The first break is down at P9. Jamie, home race for the Renault driver, and he is having, well, he's out of it now, but he's having quite a good race considering where he started this one. Tuptus as well, he's brought himself back into the swing of things. He's on the rear of Rutanius. He's got Larson not too far behind, but the safety car restart's made things very interesting. It's closed everyone back up. It's made a lot of gaps that were huge beforehand very, very small, and it's put a lot of drivers in a lot of rear view mirrors. Milan, Striffy's at risk of losing DRS here. He nearly danced outside of it there. He was inside at the DRS detection point, but Remco Van Putten now. Remco Van Putten might lose it, and Freeware's got Frutania. They're side by side, and they might lose DRS here. They tap, they come together through turn 2, and Freeware doesn't get the position, but they both lose DRS to Milan ahead. That's brilliant news for the Mercedes. Terrible news for the Red Bulls and everyone behind them.
Larson, ooh, he's looking at Tuptus coming through turn 4. He had a look on the inside, just a little bit of contact, preventing him from getting through on the inside there. There wasn't a lot of space. There wasn't a lot. I don't think anyone took damage there.
Well, things are really heating up, and Remco Van Putten now, no ERS, no DRS. And those are two things you don't want anyone to be saying on lap 49 of 66. Now there's a Dutchman who's done all his flying and right now might do a lot of falling if he's not careful.
Larson, Tuptus, Rutanius, all on this massive train, and ooh, Larson with a slide coming out of the final turn. Remco bone dry battery here. No DRS on the cars ahead, and he'll really need to push and maintain DRS as best he can through this middle sector.
It's a tough goal for him. He's actually closing. Even without the DRS, he's actually closing that gap. And if he's lucky, which is going to be difficult, but he might even get it here if he gets a really good 7 and 8. And he might get it. I think he's back. He's got it.
Very good for him for sure in this strategy.
Oh, he's lucky there. He is really lucky to have got that, but he nailed 7 and 8. And that brings you back into things. Look at him close down on the leaders. Milan especially really struggling in that Mercedes. The hards, they do not have the pace at this stage. They might have it at the end, but Sindaco, speaking of pace, he's got a lot of it bottled up at that racing point, looking at the Spaniard and takes away the lead from him at his home race. So Sindaco now P1 as here P2, and almost kissed the curb a little bit too much there in the Williams and sent himself off into the runoff area. It's not the case, but he's lost a pretty decent amount of time to Sindaco ahead.
Aeneas holding 6th position right now. We take a look at the position changes. This is where he began the race. If you look at the 5 drivers ahead of him, 2 very significant changes and a few minor changes. Sindaco up 1, Azir up 1. Milan's dropped off of where he started in pole position, but we could see that reverse itself by the end of this one. Of course, he does not have a penalty. Remco and Freeware up 13 positions each. Taptas holding station in 7th, with Larsen up 1. Jamie's made up 11 positions from where he began. What a drive, with Beccario up 4. Scotty, Dark, not the best races from them. 4 Doors made up 1, and they have, unfortunately, from 12, 13, and 14, they have all been lapped. And we have had 6 retirements here: Varrock, Acre, Daniel, Neon, Jean, and Coffee Sipper. 3 VSCs, 1 full safety car so far. We're on lap 52. I'm jumping ahead of myself. 52 out of 66. Just erase 3 laps, Unicorn.
Yeah, it's been such a crazy race, and you mentioned the position changes there. That Freeware and Remco, they may have fought now, they may have nearly lost themselves to the rest of the cars ahead, but it's been such a good drive from them. These 2 Red Bulls have been absolutely on fire since the start of this race. Those 5 red lights went out. It feels like a fair time ago. It was just over an hour ago, and well, they've just been putting on such a drive for Freeware as well. The knock on qualifying, and he's not been having the greatest tier 1 season. We were talking about this a little bit before the race, but my oh my, has he proved the point here. He is still very much capable, and Remco Van Putten as well, a very aggressive diver. He's had a few mishaps this season in APAC. He's still doing all right in the standings, but both of them here tonight have showed their true colors shift. They have had such superlative drives. The guys ahead of them, well, a pat on the back for them for beating these 2 Red Bulls, but the different strategies, it's what we love about this endurance series. We've still got 13 laps to go as we cross onto lap 53. Sindaco, we needed things, and he's broken DRS drift. He is now 1 second ahead of Azir, who's half a second ahead of Milan, and this train's starting to break down, and it's breaking down in Sindaco's favor. The Italian is letting Azir's hopes slip through his fingers of winning his home Grand Prix here in endurance. It only comes around once a year, realistically. And it's not going well for him right now in that Williams. He's dropping back pretty substantially, actually.
Yeah, Sindaco's definitely finding a lot of pace in lead of this grid right now, and this is trouble for Azir. Definitely trouble for Azir, as it's his home race, and he's got Milan behind him in 3rd, of course, without any penalties. Alex Biddo in the chat talking about the Spain Endurance Series. Last time out, it was Alex Biddo that won this race. his home Grand Prix after an unfortunate 2 rounds of MRL in Club and Tier 1, where he retired in both races. Or failed to secure the win. I don't know which way you want to put it. He'll be upset that I brought it up. But Remco, freeware. Oh, this is not team orders. These guys have been really fighting all race long. A little bit of wheel bang in there. And but by Remco, he's slid, and he's not going to be thrilled about that. He gets it back onto the track, and here comes Jamie.
Oh my goodness, Remco Van Putten. I said he's an aggressive driver. What has he done there? He's into the wall. He's completely lost the car. He's still in it. That car is still capable of driving. I don't think it's got a front wing. I'm pretty sure it is completely destroyed. He's got the right-hand side still on it. But my, oh my, Remco Van Putten. It's happened before in APAC. It's happened now here. One too many aggressive moves, this time on the defense. And it costs you the race.
That's rough for the Dutch driver. Not sure what happened in that car at all right there.
Well, he's given up. Look at the way he's driving it. He's not even getting to triple digits in terms of the speed.
There goes Milan Azir. No penalties required here. That's a clear-cut overtake for Milan, back into second position over the Spaniard, and I think it's time for these hards to really break through into this race with 11 laps remaining.
Well, this is his time. He's got no battery though, Striff. He has got no battery. He's got no DRS. And if you're in that Mercedes, how do you hope to catch that racing point? It is going to be so close. If he's got the raw pace to do it, then more power to him. And he has got a lot of raw pace right now, the mediums. I'm surprised at how quickly they are dying off, because they seem to be, in comparison, they seem to be doing quite something.
Making sure Mr. Remco Van Putten makes his way into the pit lane all right. Evidently, it was good to check. Not sure what's going on over at Red Bull.
Yeah, well, there comes the leaders, past him. And that is a very, very confused driver. Toptus, Rutanius losing out to the racing point. And it's the second time he has been overtaken by a driver in his car. And I don't think he will be too happy. He's putting both of them out of the RS. And here he goes. He's just not got anything to get back past Toptus. Milan as well. It's worth pointing out, of course, no penalties on the board yet for the Mercedes driver, and that could still give him the win right now, as he's within 3 seconds of Sindarko ahead. And Sindarko, it's worth pointing out, has 6 seconds of penalties, so he doesn't even need to be within 3 seconds. He needs to be within 6.
Take a look at the position changes. I have to say, Freeware making up a ton of positions here. Jamie on a solid drive today, making up a ton of positions as well.
Yeah, and you love to see people, you know, combating that qualifying glitch. You know, Jamie, we knew he was going to join late. I think he had a commitment elsewhere. I think he was doing an Austrian race before this one. So he knew there was going to be a little bit of overlap for whatever reason, maybe a lobby delay or whatever. But he got in. He didn't, wasn't able to qualify in a way that was impactful on the race. But look at how he's done it. It shows that anything can happen in these endurance races, and you love to see it. They are so entertaining to watch. Two Hasses as well. They haven't had the best race in terms of raw pace, but I think they've been having fun together, Shift. They have been swapping a fair few times. Scotty and Dark there, down 11th and 12th. They've both been lapped, but they haven't lost out in terms of the battling. They have been going at each other lap after lap. Dark right now with a little bit of a benefit in terms of tyres. Speaking of Remco Van Vleuten, fresh softs and a fresh front wing, he finally finds his way into the pit lane.
57 out of 66, and the action just keeps on coming as all of these fights now starting to come down to the wire. Penalties playing that role. Milan right now, of course, he's 1.5 within Sindako, slated for that potential win here. We'll have a little bit of racing to go. You never know what can happen as these tires continue to degrade.
Milan just needs to sit comfortably now. He has not got too much to worry about unless Sindako finds 4.5 seconds compared to Milan in 8 laps, or 7.5 really. It's not going to happen for the Italian, and it's not going to happen for the Spaniard behind Milan either. And it's here. It looked at one point that he could win this race. It's not quite looking that way now. It's still not over for him. He could still make it. He's actually ahead of Sindako on penalties, I do believe, right now as it stands. He's got 3 seconds. Sindako has 6, and he's within 3 seconds of Sindako. So still not over for the Spaniard either. But with Milan there, I don't think Azir finds a way past Milan to break 3 seconds. If Milan picks up a 3-second time penalty, though, everything changes. The hard tires, though, they're going to be much more comfortable on that Mercedes than the mediums on the Williams. So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Still enough laps left for a late minute drama. It takes one person to spin out of turn 9 to change up everything.
Yeah, I agree
and
with
Milan
you.
and Azir are out of ERS. They're both out.
Turn 9 can be so tricky. Absolutely tricky. We've already seen it tonight play a bit of a role in some crashes and some spins. Dark and Scotty just continue to fight now. The two Haas drivers just pulling each other along, out for a cruise.
Yeah, I think a lot of the drivers as well, when they get in that situation, you've been lapped, you realize someone else has been lapped. You don't necessarily have to be teammates in the event. They just like to just enjoy that battle. And speaking of Remco Van Vleuten, he picks up one last overtake. He might not get another one, but he overtakes Ford or Sedan down into turn 1. The tire difference there, making it as easy as it's ever going to be, along with the DRS, etc.
There's an holding with Rutanius. The gap right now from Rutanius to Tuptus 1.9, and without DRS, there's a good potential that Larsen can catch him and overtake him here, although he doesn't have a penalty in the Alfa Romeo.
And that's going to promote him a lot here.
Yeah, I think he's on for a potential 4th.
4th right now. But if Azir gets another one, it could be a podium for him. He needs to do a little bit of catching up if he wants that, to take advantage of it. But
oh, well, there's a game changer. That is Jamie coming outside of turn 5. The Renault retired in this race, and ladies and gentlemen, with just shy of 6 laps remaining, we have a safety car deployed on lap 60.
Does anyone come in for softs?
No.
Surely not, but well,
okay. Sindako, Milan. Okay, yes. Azir says no. Oh,
well, that's a mistake.
okay.
That's a mistake. Everyone's in.
Bido in the chat saying stay out. He says now, never mind. Oh.
Well, the thing is, you'd think that this is a stay out situation because there's so few laps left, but when everyone else has done it, you can't stay out. Because if everyone makes the same mistake, it's no longer a mistake, it's the norm.
Oh, man.
And Azir now is going to get absolutely robbed.
There is not a shred, not a single shred of doubt in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, that Azir has lost this podium.
The only chance he can hope is that there's a massive battle for like 4th, and that those drivers, they fall out of DRS range, and it's the likes of Freeware and Sindaku ahead of him who have got massive podium penalties, and that's the only way that the Spaniard now, I think, can sit atop his home podium. But for Milan, what a revelation this is, because now he is within DRS. He's on the better tire, and Sindaku is the only real threat ahead of him. He just needs to be calm and collected. Everyone here needs to be careful. Also, Rutanius.
He's on for podium.
Rutanius, no penalties. He could be P2 if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, he could be on a podium, 2nd, 3rd position.
Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be very interesting. Everyone came in for the soft spotters here, and 24 lap op mediums. They're not going to do anything for him.
This is going to be such a restart. This is going to be such... Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. This restart, everyone's going to have full battery. Everyone's going to have fresh tires. This is going to be less than a 5-lap race to the end now. Azir is going to be an anchor in this grid, in my personal opinion. It is going to be very hard for him to keep up with the speed of this grid that is going to be following him, and more than likely overtaking him into turn 1. I think that Sindaku, maybe Milan, get Azir on the race restart. We're going to be coming in this lap, I think. Regardless of the position of 4-door and BT.
Jeff, I think you're going to be surprised by how many people overtake Azir. I really think he's going to get absolutely annihilated on the start here. Well, the only saving grace is that chicane.
Annihilated. Okay.
That chicane might save him, but I don't think those mediums are going to have any traction on the final corner. I really don't. As long as no one's caught sleeping, he is going to get absolutely destroyed down into turn 1. I honestly think even Rutanius could get past him by the time they get down to turn 1, unless he gets an absolutely just perfect restart. He gets away cleanly and Sindaku misses it. I think he loses at least 3 places down into turn 1. Safety car is going around again, which is good news for him. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting who gets past it down into that run down to turn 1, because it's a long straight.
What's going through your head? You're Azir right now. What's in your mind?
Well, first of all, I imagine he's very surprised that everyone's come into the pit stops for the softs, because clearly he did not think it was the right call. Then you're going to be kicking yourself that, he's going to be, he's made the wrong call. Whether it was the right call or the wrong call, the fact that everyone else has made it, like I said, makes it the wrong call to set on these mediums. Now, all you got to think about is how you're going to restart this race. I think he wants to slow things right down, try and get it on the power as early as he can once he's clear of the chicane. Because the earlier he can get it down, the more people get bunched up in the 14-15 chicane. And the more people get bunched up there, the bigger gap they have to catch him up. And that reduces the amount of time that they've got to catch him.
That's right.
In the last 3 laps.
That's right.
He has to nail it. He really does. This is a brilliant end to a brilliant race. Here it comes. The safety car's in. We knew it was going to come.
Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
There he is. He's doing it. He's really slowing this down.
He's going to look for an opportunity here. He is going to look for an opportunity here to do something spectacular, and I don't think Sindako's having any of it. I think he's just going to keep his eyes peeled, his head on a swivel here. He's going to be looking for some kind of tactic, perhaps, out of the Spaniard of Azir. Azir, 25 lap old mediums, ladies and gentlemen. Gearing us up for this safety car restart. As we come now through the chicane, Azir. Oh, what are we doing? This is not good for Azir at all. He's giving Sindako an opportunity to run at him, but Milan, we are green flag racing here on lap 64 out of 66. It is round 4 of the MRL Endurance Series. Milan looking at Sindako. Nobody has dispatched Azir just yet. Azir, the home driver here in Spain, leading this race on the brutally worn tires in comparison to the rest of this grid, holding on to lead of things right now. Sindako, 2nd position, Milan, 3rd. Of course, we have Freeware in 4th, Rutanius in 5th. Milan, Rutanius, no penalties for the pair of them. Tuptus in 6th, Larsen 7th, Becario looking at Larsen on the inside of turn 5, gets the move done. And there's another Spaniard making moves around home turf here. Larsen has BTFU not too far behind him. Sindako with a run coming out of turn 9. Is this the trigger pull that he needs? Around the outside now into turn 10. Nothing doing.
Crashed. Remco spun it on turn 9, but up on the front line you were saying. Everyone holding Azir up. Azir's safety car restart. I don't know how legal it was. But he did it well. Whether it was right or wrong to do so, he did manage to stay holding onto that lead for an entire lap. But he's still on for it here. And given the penalty situation, I think he saved himself. for the podium. We'll see what happens post-race. But for now, he's held off the charge down into turn 1 as well. This is good news for him. There's no DRS. And I don't think there will be either. I don't think we'll even have it on the last lap. So he's doing well now. The Spaniard holding the inside line as they come down towards turn 4. Sindako not finding a way past. And Milan still in 3rd. He's looking at this. He's still on for the win here.
Milan really doesn't need to push these guys too hard. Larsen now giving it back to Becario where the Spaniard took him last lap. Larsen back into 7th position.
He's doing very well. He's holding on. He's not let Sindako through down at turn 10 either.
You and I are getting proved severely wrong here, considering I thought he was going to take a couple of positions lost, potentially out of that podium position. You thought he was going to get, as you said, annihilated. Here we are,
really did.
Seeing him absolutely stab off Sindako and Milan. Azir, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Spaniard in the Williams beginning the final lap of his home race. He's got the Italian stallion of Sindako tonight, who has been hunting him down for quite some time now. Around the outside of turn 1. Does he have it enough on the inside here? Sindako, what a move for him. Really creating some fireworks here on the final lap of this race. Azir holding through Sindako back on the inside as we come into turn 4. Milan with the front row seats and the popcorn as Freeware now in 4th position, trying to make it back on them. Azir, Sindako, wheel to wheel. Sindako on the outside as we come into turn 5. Azir giving it everything he has to hold on to this win on track right now.
Milan.
This is wild racing as Milan is really throwing a monkey wrench in it for the Italian. Milan now through into 2nd position, really pushing his way through. Freeware now, the German driver on the rear of all of this action. Azir has broken away nearly half a second over these races. Can he do this? Can the Spaniard take the race win on track here? 28 lap old mediums, they're about to tick 29. Milan, 2nd position for the Mercedes at the moment. Sindako in 3rd, and we're coming through the final chicane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the hometown hero. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Williams. It's Azir to the line on track with the win. Milan will get him on the penalty. Rutanius in the 2nd position, the Dutchman. Azir will take the podium. Milan with the victory, and holy smokes, what a race finale this has been after 66 laps of racing, Unicorn.
I am absolutely astounded. I have absolutely no idea how he held on those, particularly Sindako up the inside into turn 4. You had to think it was all over for the Spaniard, but he found traction on 29 lap, well, 28 lap old mediums around the outside of turn 4, defended up the inside of turn 5, managed to stay ahead, defended against DRS because no one had any battery left, and then manages to cross the line first. He may have been relegated from penalties at his home Grand Prix, but he crossed the line first, and that is all he's going to care about. He thought it was the right call to stay out on the mediums, and oh my goodness, he was right. My goodness, I cannot believe it.
We're going to be talking to the podium finishers in just a few moments. I think you and I need to talk to Azir and apologize. Because I think you and I both thought for sure there was no podium in it for this Spanish driver today. But this man came through very, very clutch in a fantastic and a superlative race finale. What a drive coming from all three of these podium finishers. Oh my. Oh my. We're going to have interviews in just a second. What a race. What a race. We're going to have a raid, of course, in a moment as well. Absolute thrills. That was such a fantastic finale. Such a fantastic finale. Milan, ladies and gentlemen, he started this race on pole position. He collects it after Azir finishes it on the line and drops to penalties. Milan, penaltyless in this race with a fantastic drive, collects the win. Rutanius, the Dutch driver who's known for his Tier 3 campaigns and leading of the championship. Of course, the Dutch driver coming in 6th position today in quali, gets it on the podium. What a race from him, and we'll talk to him in just a few moments. And the man of the hour for Spain, he started this race in 3rd. He led it to a race victory on track, the penalty costing him in the end of 3 seconds there, but he does get it in 3rd. What a finale. Larsen, 4th. Sindako in 5th. We had Tuptus in 6th. BTFU in 7th. Freeware in 8th. Becario in 9th, with Scotty finishing in 10th position, collecting that final point of the race, a lap down. And we saw a little bit of separation through this grid due to multiple VSCs, issues, spins, and we had a couple of safety cars, of course. Four-door sedan, Dark, Remco Van Putten, Jamie, Vorak, Acre, Daniel, Neon, as well as Jean and Coffee Sipper with us for this one. And of course, we'll be back next time there is a Formula One Grand Prix with another endurance race. And we'll get to those interviews in just a quick second. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for tuning in. My name's Stryfium here from Canada. And of course, we have Unicorn from the UK.
I'm lost for words. I cannot believe... I don't think there's ever been a situation where we've both been so wrong. There have been situations where we've both been completely wrong before, but I don't think there's ever been a situation where we've both been pretty much in agreement. We were disagreeing on the specifics of the situation, but we both thought that was over for Azir. I don't think that's ever happened before. I don't think we've ever called something quite so incorrectly.
For both of us to be wrong, yeah, I would agree with you 100%. That has been quite the rarity. But Azir, we're going to talk to him now. Joining us, ladies and gentlemen, in the commentary booth, it is Mr. Azir himself. He started this race in 3rd. He finished it with a win on track around his home circuit of Spain. Azir, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm... Right now, I have no words. I'm sweating so much. And yeah, the last laps had been very difficult for me because of the mediums, but I think I was wrong not pitting for softs in the safety car, but I managed to keep the first position, and in the end, due to penalties, I finished P3.
It was an amazing race. When you took the penalty and you knew... Well, actually, you know what? Let's just come out right flat and say it. What was the thought process behind the second safety car?
I just put the I don't know how to say, but I just was not thinking about it, and then when I saw all the people pit for soft and I was on track, I don't know, it was like okay. And then I tried to to keep the first position, and I did it.
It certainly had us on our toes, on our feet, to really see how things would come down to the end. Unicorn, do you have any questions for Azir?
Well, Azir, I don't really have any questions. I don't think I can question Azir after what a performance we've had. But Azir, I just gotta say, absolutely stellar drive. Your defense on that final lap through turns 4 and 5 was absolutely incredible. So I think you should be absolutely thoroughly happy that you managed to get that Spanish flag up on that podium today. Just a huge congratulations from you. That was a stellar drive.
Thanks so much, mate.
Do you have any messages for the Spanish fans? Do you want to say something in Spanish to your friends in the chat?
Ya. Muchas gracias para los que me están viendo y bueno, este podio va dedicado a la gente que me ve desde España.
Thank you so much, Azir, and again, congratulations on a podium, and we'll see you in the next race.
Thanks, Triff.
Wow, what a drive from Azir. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, is a driver who is very, very familiar with the insides of, I guess we'll call it, the commentary booth. The driver who started in 6th position, the Dutchman from Tier 3 Division, the championship leader of the Tier 3 Division, winning a 2nd place position from 6th. It is Rutanius, and I have to say, first question from me to you, sir, is did you expect to be in this commentary booth right now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Especially after last week. Also after seeing the grid that was driving today, I would not expect this. This is unbelievable.
That was such a race, Rutanius. We saw 3 VSCs, we saw 2 safety cars, we saw spins, we saw some collisions, we saw some upsets, and it was just thrilling. And right now, just so you know, we've just been rated by Love46. Thank you so much. We're just coming to the end of our 100% distance Spanish Grand Prix. We're interviewing Rutanius, the Dutch driver who has just taken 2nd place position from 6th. Thank you so much for the raid, Rutanius. It was such an amazing drive. I have to say, you took no penalties in this race. 66 laps around Spain, strict corner cutting. What does that feel like?
It is so rewarding. It is unbelievably rewarding. Just because we've been here with Tier 3 as well. When we were there in Tier 3, I found the track really hard. And I remember I put a ton of laps in to master this circuit. To be consistent, but also quick. But also without picking up any penalties. And well, practice pays off, and this was my target, no penalties, and we see where we end up. And wow, it got me a P2 today, so I'm so glad I put all that time and effort into practicing.
Practice makes perfect. It's something that, of course, you've come to talk about before with what you've done in Tier 3. This is also a race that you partook in, if I'm not mistaken, for Tier 3, so you had a little bit of practice here already in the season. Yeah, 6th position to 2nd. I'm just so happy for you. Was there any engineering that came into play? Did you have assistance in this one? Did you have anyone helping you out?
Yeah, I have my boys. Also a big shout out to them, of course. Alex, Bud, Ace, Richie, the boys, engineering the boys. Huge thanks to you guys. Larson and Neon were also there. We were having fun. We were driving away, and the boys were keeping me up to date on the strategy, and all I had to do was drive.
That's always great when you're able to stay focused. Unicorn, any questions for our 2nd place finisher this evening? And if anyone's wondering, Milan, unfortunately, we won't have a chance to speak to him in the interviews today. He can't make it to the comms, but maybe we'll speak to him in the future in Tier 1. But yes, Unicorn, any questions for Rutanius before we let him go?
Well, a little bit of a one from left field from me, Rutanius. Congratulations, like Striffer said, on the P2. It was a very, very competitive grid. A few Tier 1 guys in there, and you've come in Tier 3 driver, taken P2 away from them. I just want to know, what was it like seeing the back of a racing point at a few points in that race? Because that's not something you're used to seeing. You're used to being up at the front in Tier 3, but what's it like being overtaken by what is effectively your car in most situations?
It's weird to be in an Alfa Romeo in qualifying, the first laps felt so weird because the Alfa Romeo actually drives so different to the Racing Point. The Racing Point is way more wide, actually. I was also lucky that I was not in a Racing Point because under the safety car, Tuptus pitted right ahead of me. If I was in the Racing Point, I would have been stacked with him. But because I was in Alpha today, I overtook him in the pit lane. So that was very, very lucky of me. Yeah, it's just weird to battle at a Racing Point. But it also is awesome to show what great Racing Point drivers we have in the team. Tuptus, such a good driver, and he showed it off today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, a huge congratulations. You know, that's, like you said, very competitive grid, and to see you here in P2 at a track you just said there that you struggled with in Tier 3 earlier this season, but getting a P2, it's got to feel good. So I gotta say, go and enjoy yourself after that one. You thoroughly deserve it.
Thank you so much.
Congrats,
Thank you.
Rutanius. That was a fantastic race, ladies and gentlemen. Unicorn, that was some serious fireworks after a very dynamic Spanish GP, not weather included. We didn't have any rain today, but just fantastic. And of course, we're going to jump into the outro and of course, go and rate a member of the community. One thing I'd love to just share with you all is our fantastic partners, Next Level Racing. You can find them on their website, nextlevelracing.com, or via the link in the chat or the panels down below before we raid. They have some amazing sim racing rigs, motion sims. They have wheel stands, light rigs that are compactable that you can fold away. Really great quality products. They have some aluminum range products coming as well. It's going to be really, really great. Of course, we have an event coming, the Misfits Grand Championship. If you're interested in participating in an 80 driver tournament with cash prizes and giveaways, you can sign up for that, ! Event. If you're looking for a replay or any highlights of this, we're going to be starting to do highlights for races with explosive endings like this, so we might just see some on the YouTube soon, ! YouTube, where you can find all of our race replays, highlights, circuit guides, and more. And I'm happy to tell you that the APAC division and our Sunday races, such as Formula 2, have now officially both been moved to YouTube. So APAC no longer on Twitch as of tomorrow. It will be on the YouTube channel, and we don't know how long we're going to do that. It's just something we're trying out, but I can tell you with certainty that the Americas and all of the other tiers 3, 2, and 1 will be remaining on Twitch for the long time coming. So no stress there. But thank you, everybody. We're going to head off with a raid. Unicorn, any last remarks before we head out?
I just think that is one of the most explosive ends to a race we've seen, particularly in endurance. It's one of the best endurance races I think we've ever had. And that's a big compliment. I think everyone on this grid should be thoroughly happy with how this went. They should be incredibly proud. They put on some great action. The two Red Bulls, obviously, Azir, Sindarko, Rutanius, just so many great drives from so many people. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyable to commentate. Thank you to everyone at home for watching along. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Enjoy whoever it is that we raid, and we'll see you tomorrow for APAC before, of course, the real life Formula 1 here at Spain. I just hope it's half as action-packed as it was here, because that will be an absolutely incredible race. But from here at MRL, from all me, that's everything. So I'll see you tomorrow for APAC Division and, of course, F2. But enjoy the rest of your evening, ladies and gentlemen.